You remember the saying, well, there's an app for that. Pretty much anyone can create an app. There's apps to create apps. It's not very expensive and it really doesn't take much effort. But unless it's a contract with the government of Canada. Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me is Brian Lilley. Brian, we are now dubbing it the ArriveSCAM app. I mean, Canadians will cringe when they hear about it because it's a dark time we don't want to remember during the global pandemic, COVID-19, and we had to fill in these forms and basically give over all of our biometrics and forget all of our civil liberties. But the creation of this ArriveCan app, which wouldn't let you leave or go anywhere unless you had this information, cost $54 million. But there's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of claims of lying at a committee on Parliament Hill.
Yeah, and remember, we used to have it on our phone. It had to be a smartphone,
Yeah.
and it was only in English and French, and we had people coming from around the world, seniors, snowbirds coming back from Florida, from Palm Springs, from Phoenix. And, I don't know about you, but I do know a number of seniors who don't carry smartphones. They carry cell phones, but they wouldn't be compatible with the app. Some were just unable to fill it out due to language barriers or lack of technological understanding. My parents are super tech savvy, but not everyone's are. And so this caused all kinds of problems, backlogs at the border. It was horrific. And then we find out the cost. And this one company, so it's a $54 million app. And this one company, GC Strategies, gets $11 million, Adrienne. And they're supposed to, they're the IT company. Okay, do you do any IT work? No. What do? We contract out. So they made $11 million. And the Conservatives and the NDP, by the way, this is not just a Conservatives beating up on a dumb Liberal contract. The NDP's furious as well. Everyone keeps saying, what do you do? Well, we facilitate contracts for other people. Okay, but what do you actually do? What do you create? And the owners of this company can't say. And they have been obfuscating. They have been, there was one incident where they were asked about, well, do you know about so-and-so's cottage? Oh, no, I don't know about a cottage. There's no cottage. It turns out because the guy calls it a chalet.
Well, that is very much in keeping with what we know about Liberals and their friends and who they give contracts to. That's very typical of a type of out-of-touch response, Brian. But let's just go back to this GCS Technologies for a second. There's two guys that run this shop, and then they just outsource the real work, the tangible work, to other technology companies. And as you say, they take $11 million in contract fees. I mean, I don't understand this, but regardless.
Let me explain part of it, because they were asked and they said, well, we have to respond to the RFPs, the request for proposals, and we have to manage the contracts. It's like, no, we have bureaucrats for that. So you're basically being a middleman.
Yeah.
Say, oh, we can bid on that work. We'll do that work. Do you do that work? No, but we'll do that work. And they're taking $11 million off of that, and then inflating. There were, there's reports of contracts being inflated for the subcontractors as well.
So if this had come forward during the time of the pandemic, it would have, been explosive information because of all of the stories that we covered and others about how much there was price gouging and people were really taking advantage of the population during during that time. And I'm wondering, with this committee that's going on Parliament Hill, will there be any need to pay some of this money back? There's an RCMP investigation, from what I understand. Do we know anything further on that?
My experience with covering Ottawa for as long as I did, as long as I have, nobody's going to pay anything back. An RCMP investigation, look, as I've said regarding the RCMP investigation into Doug Ford and the Greenbelt, this will go on like it did for the SNC-Lavalin investigation into the Prime Minister. It'll be 3 or 4 years from now, somebody will call up the RCMP and say, hey, what's going on? And they'll obfuscate for a while and then eventually say, oh, yeah, we didn't find anything. We shut things down. It's all good. The RCMP at that level, at the investigation into white collar crime and issues like that, is the most incompetent organization I've ever seen. There's lots of great frontline Mounties. I'm not disparaging you guys, but those guys that work out of the old JDS facility in Ottawa, they are incompetent. So I don't expect anything to come of this. And I expect the guys that charge the $11 million to keep enjoying their chalet.
Well, the only way to change this and change this level of incompetency is for an election to change the government. Go to theTorontoSun.com, hit that subscribe button. You're going to find coverage and stories you will not find anywhere else.